You, Adrian, I wouldn't ask you to stop being a woman. Don't ask me to stop being a man. Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry I was off doing a play, so I missed some movies, but I'm here to review, so let's get reviewing some movies. Creed, and not the 90s rock band. Creed is directed by Ryan Coogler, and he was fantastic for this. He did a great job at directing this, had a really good look to it. Now let's get on with the story. You got Michael B. Jordan, who's playing Adonis Johnson, who is Apollo Creed's son. If you don't remember, if you didn't grow up with the Rocky movies, Apollo Creed was the first boxer that Rocky went up against. Then he was the second boxer that he went up against in part 2, and then they became friends. He started training him in Rocky 3, and then in Rocky 4, a Russian killed Apollo Creed by just knocking him out. If he dies, he dies. I must break you. That's my impression of parts of Rocky 4. Moving on, so in this movie, Michael B. Jordan is Apollo Creed's son. He doesn't know this at first. You meet him as a little kid, and he's just in and out of juvie. He's causing fights, and he's fighting. That's when Felicia Rashad, who plays Marianne Creed, Apollo Creed's wife, goes and actually adopts this child, Adonis Johnson, who is Apollo Creed's son, but not her son. Apollo Creed had an affair while he was heavyweight champion of the world. You know, a lot of people, and I've heard a critic saying like, oh, this is a bad premise. He had an affair. This was a great character we looked up to, and now we're going to look down on him because he was cheating on his wife. But that's addressed in the movie in a very clever way. Now, Michael B. Jordan is he's fighting against his own persona as Apollo Creed's son. He wants to make it as a boxer. He's working this office job. He quits, and he wants to just make it as a boxer on his own under the name Johnson. And he's wanting to prove to himself that he's better, that he can be as good, if not better, than his father. And he's fighting against his dad in that way because he blames his father for not being around. But he was born after Apollo Creed died. So Apollo Creed never knew of his son, never knew of him. But Adonis is blaming him for this, and he's fighting that, just trying to do it. No one's giving him a break. He's going down to Mexico and Tijuana and wherever, and he's making a little bit of cash boxing, and he's good, but he has no training. Michael B. Jordan goes and finds Sylvester Stallone still working at Adrian's, which is the restaurant from the movie Rocky Balboa that he named after his wife. His wife has passed on. Paulie has passed on. He doesn't really have anybody or anything. All he has is this restaurant and this past, and everyone he goes by, everyone salutes him, hey champ, but he's getting less known, he's getting older. And what you see in this performance from Sylvester Stallone, this movie is so much like it's what other critics are saying. So many people are saying this is the best Rocky film since the first one, and I gotta say, I definitely agree. This is not a boxing movie. Yeah, it has to do with boxing. It's set around that. But it's really about these two characters and how they fulfill each other's life in these particular ways. How just Adonis is needing a father figure, and it's got this bad view of his dad, of Apollo Creed. But Apollo Creed was Sylvester Stallone's best friend, so of course Rocky is going to talk Apollo up. And Adonis, on the other hand, is trying to talk Sylvester Stallone into keep fighting, to keep living, to find joy in your life. Stallone is just excellent in this film. Stallone is great, just fantastic, and is in this drama, and his acting is just really, really good, and I've always felt Stallone is so underrated for that. Because, yeah, he's known as this action star and everything, but that guy writes 95% of his films, produces them. It seems to me that Stallone came back, did Rocky Balboa, and then did these expendable films, and then had all of these action movies while he could. It seemed like Sylvester Stallone was saying, okay, I'm going to do this while I still can. And he did that. Now it looks like, in this movie, he's playing his age. Elderly Rocky. And to see that in this way, because in Rocky Balboa, he was could go toe-to-toe with a young boxer. Even though that was just kind of fantasy in a film. But that's what you saw, so you still fought for Rocky. You're like, yeah, it's Rocky. Kind of like how you're going to feel for Han Solo when you see old Harrison Ford Han Solo in Force Awakens. You're going to be like, yeah, that's Han. But you know he's old Han. He's got some years on him, got some mileage. That changes a person a little bit. To see Stallone as Rocky like this, my brother and I was just brought up on Rocky. I remember the first time that we watched, that I can remember watching all of them, because my father is such an outdoorsman. We were on a big camping trip, and each night we sat down and we watched a Rocky movie, and that was my first time going through the whole anthology, and I actually absolutely loved that and have very fond memories of that. So Rocky, to me, just the music and everything, has a tone, not only with my brother because he loves them so much, but my whole family. Yeah, we were watching Rocky in an RV. We really roughed it around the country. These two characters see something in each other, and it just works. The chemistry works. Michael B. Jordan is fantastic. He's so good at this role, and he's pulling things out of him that you hadn't seen before. Now, he did the Fantastic Four film, which was, god-awful. But he's done other things. He's been around, just kind of waiting for his moment to come out. And in this, you really see it. His physicality in the role, the way that he is as a boxer, the way that he moves, and he really committed to this role. And he meets this girl in it, played by Tessa Thompson. Her name's Bianca in the film, and just to add story to the element, Bianca she's a singer. She sings around town, around Philadelphia, but she wears hearing aids because she's getting used to them, because she's slowly losing her hearing. That's not something that plays out in this film as something, a major plot point, but does lead open for more to this franchise. Because there's going to be more of these films, I think. Actually, I know there's going to be, because of the success that this one's already have, critically. It's not really raking it in at the box office just yet, but critically, this movie is being very highly hailed, and I can see why. I heard another critic say that Sylvester Stallone's agent is probably just knocking all of these action movies off his desk and just starting to bring in the dramas, because I want to see this Stallone. I want to see more of this Stallone. You are a fantastic actor. You were great in Copland. You were great in other things. You can be great in some dramas. Let's see more of that. And Michael B. Jordan, dude, you've got a career ahead of you. And he's got a career in this Creed character. The cinematographer is the same cinematographer who did the movie The Fighter. So if you like the look of the movie The Fighter, this real gritty, he captures the Philadelphia scene very, very well. Just the way Philly feels. You can almost smell the sweat and just feel the tension, and it just has this realism, this grit to it. And it's a very emotional film. It's a film that makes you just cheer and root. And if you know Rocky movies and that theme comes in, man, do you feel it right here. I was just elbowing my brother so hard until he was just like, stop it, cut it out, because I'm more of a dork than he is. He's much cooler than I am. But anyway, guys, Creed, for what it is, for a film in general, Creed gets an A. Absolutely gets an A. Guys, bring your girlfriends to this. Girls, just go with them, because you'll like it. There's a little love story in here, and it's great. And this movie definitely leaves it open for more, and there's going to be. So, guys, A for Creed. Great film. I'm so glad to be back, so glad to be doing these videos. I look for more to come. If you like this video, there's a lot more. Just hit subscribe, take a look, like some of them, leave me some comments. I'd like to hear from what you know. Guys, these are just my opinions. They're not written in stone, because, what do I know anyway? Come on.